I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel Move It Movie. As today's movie porter, we are moving a horror film directed by James Wan, Malignant. There's also a surprise at the end of the video, you will need it while downloading the movie. In Malignant, Madison, acted by Annabelle Wallis, is pregnant after having had 3 miscarriages. One day, her abusive husband loses his temper and slams her up against a wall. That night, a monster appears in the house, kills the husband and sends Madison to the hospital, where she loses the baby. Her sister, Sydney, acted by Maddie Hassan, visits and wants to help, while police detectives Kikoa Shaw, acted by George Young, and Regina Moss, acted by Mike Hole Brianna White, try to solve the murder with little to go on. Soon, Madison starts having visions of other murders. As if she were transported right to the scene of the crime, she can see what's happening but can't move. As the bodies pile up, the clues point to Madison's past, before she was adopted by Sydney's parents a time that Madison cannot remember. Setting in Seattle and filmed in and around Los Angeles, Malignant is replete with familiar genre tropes: the cavernous, shadowy homes with creaky doors and unreliable latches, the crumbly psychiatric hospital clinging to the edge of a cliff, where Madison's childhood records lurk, you guessed it, in the spidery basement. Staticky, menacing voices croak from old radios, and Michael Burgess's camera beckons us into underground tunnels and clambers up walls on the heels of the villain and his victims. None of this is especially scary, but, if you're patient, one delivers the kind of hilariously sick climax that only a sadist would spoil or envisage. What's it like to be stuck inside the head of Madison, a tortured murder suspect who can't remember how she's related to Gabriel, acted by Ray Chase, a featureless silhouette with long black hair and a bad habit of killing people? Malignant doesn't provide any satisfying answers because Madison's creators treat her like an opportunity for obnoxious shock scares instead of a fully realized character, or, better yet, the emotional anchor for a feature-length horror movie. Madison's consistently presented as an opportunity for tacky effects-driven violence, as in her first scene, where she's thrown headfirst against a wall by her abusive husband Derek, acted by Abel. Madison's pregnant at the time, and Derek, who's obviously not long for this world, blames her for previous miscarriages, which are otherwise not visualized or built up to in a meaningful way beyond thin expository dialogue. Stuff like, "How many times do I have to watch my children die inside of you, and maybe you need to stop getting pregnant." Derek soon gets got. He dies by Gabriel's wispy hands, and in a scene that looks suspiciously like a cut scene from Wan's Insidious movies. Wan seems to love this style of strawman drama. First, he presents us with the Ken setup for a confrontation, then we watch him slowly resolve tension through scare tactics that make the American-produced J-horror remakes of the mid-00s scene cutting edge. Flickering television and phone screens, unexpected faces reflected in glass surfaces, and gaunt wraiths who all seem to shop at Hot Topic. These are fine enough elements for a horror movie, but not when they're built up to such a laughable degree, and without much visual flair or distinction. Almost every set piece or kill scene feels anticlimactic. Madison's friends and family members are also used as props to set up clammier scare scenes. It's almost as if Wan, who shares a story credit with Ingrid Bisu and screenwriter Akela Cooper, don't trust their audience enough to know or care about anything beyond PowerPoint-style bullet point dialogue, like when Dreamboat policeman Kikoa Shaw tells Madison's suspicious sibling Sydney that the doctor said your sister had 3 miscarriages in the last 2 years. Sydney doesn't have much of a personality, but that's presumably so that Madison can later describe her sister as the sort of blood connection that she's always yearned for, but took for granted, despite being right in front of me all along. And Kiko is supposed to be cute, I guess, so fellow cop Winnie can awkwardly swoon over him. "We need to find that missing half," he says, speaking about Gabriel's half-missing murder weapon, to which she says, "Yeah, don't we all?" There's no follow-up to that tossed-off line, because these characters don't seem to matter to each other beyond setting up the next shock scare. Wan's never been the most technically adept or sophisticated storyteller, but his Weaknesses as a filmmaker are especially apparent throughout. In one especially embarrassing scene, one crosscuts between Madison and Kikoa, who's seated next to his lollipop-sucking partner Regina, as Madison tells the cops who's responsible for all the murders. It's Gabriel, of course, and we know that already, so it's hard not to laugh when the camera pushes in on Young and White as Madison explains that the killer said he was Gabriel. Back to them, waiting with bated breath. My Gabriel. The strings section goes crazy on the soundtrack. Regina pauses and shakes her head. Still in the extreme foreground, Young, now looking down and off camera. His head takes up a third of the screen and is out of focus. Wait, you're saying that the killer is your imaginary friend? The answer to that question and a few others await you in the horror movie Malignant. To download streaming videos for offline viewing, a third-party downloader is highly recommended. That is StreamFab Video Downloader. It's an integrated downloading solution which allows you to get access to online movies. Please find the link of this downloader in the video description.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.